to be faced with challenges. It's another thing to handle the challenges without losing your mind. So I'd say they dominate the scene, really. And you know, for a place where you really don't have a lot of grooming grounds, and then you have these young people daring and not minding to learn, fall rise, but create a career for themselves and be part of the industry. I think we should actually, you know, commend them.
There's this thing about being a youth. The bursting energy that is naturally quartered in that demography. If you do not trap it and nurture it, harness it for positive use, either by the community or the state at large, it will be used negatively, either against the community or against the state. So that is why whoever has thought of this, and incidentally, this is the brainchild of some young chaps, is something that anybody should strive to support.
The Gen Z initiative in Nigeria is a social impact program which strives to inspire active participation among the youth, particularly the Gen Z, in the molding of a better future for Nigeria by mobilizing for positive action in pivotal sectors such as education, health, business and entrepreneurship, politics, entertainment, technology and innovation.
From other parts of Africa now, Senegal's parliament voted on Monday to delay the West African nation's presidential election until December 15 in a chaotic voting process that took place after opposition lawmakers were forcefully removed from the chambers as they debated President Macky Sall's earlier decision to delay the crucial election. Security forces stormed the legislative building and forcefully removed several opposition lawmakers who were trying to block the voting process on the unprecedented delay of the presidential election initially scheduled for February 25. The adopted bill extends Sall's tenure, which was due to end on April 2, until a new election. Authorities on Monday restricted mobile internet access amid growing protests by opposition supporters against the delay.
They have had to develop a lexicon, a vocabulary to talk to us about derogation, suspension, or annulment. This is nothing more than an extension of the term of office of the President of the Republic beyond the term laid down in the Constitution. He took an oath to be the absolute servant of the nation. But you have seen with us that he himself has just organized a constitutional coup. I would remind you that when the 14th legislature was installed, gendarmes came in here and MPs were accused, and we were the ones who were accused. You now understand who the traitors of the people are. You now understand who are those who manage their own interests. We stood together, the opposition MPs, the real opposition MPs.
In business news, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Olayemi Cardoso, has attributed the recent increase in the dollar exchange rate to the rise in Nigerian students who study abroad, as well as foreign medical trips embarked on by Nigerians. Cardoso spoke at the sectoral debate put together by the House of Representatives on Tuesday in Abuja. The Apex Bank's boss said the high cost of living remains a concern, adding that the CBN was working to bring lasting solutions and bring down the inflation to 21.4% through improved agricultural productivity.
Now, I said something again, maybe I should restate it a bit. With respect to medical and education, I'm not by any means casting any aspersion on anything or any business segment. I'm not. Basically, what I was saying is I felt it was necessary for us all to understand what the nature of the contributions towards limited dollar inflows and great dollar outflows were. One of the great dollar outflows over the recent past has been medical and education and a whole host of others. But all I was trying to illustrate is that we also need to have an attitudinal shift. That attitudinal shift to start to benefit our local economy, whereby we buy locally and we patronize local production. Because if we do not put these numbers into the context I gave you, that the importance of this may be lost. And basically what I was saying is that within a certain period of time, between spending on medical and education in overseas countries, the amount spent, which was estimated at about $40 billion US, was equivalent to our reserves. And that's shocking, to be quite honest. That is very shocking. And I think these are things that we all need to just take a look and think about how we can benefit and strengthen the Naira from having more local production and using the local alternatives that we may have. So that is a wake-up call.
And with that business story, we wrap it up on the news brief. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. You can also view us from Limex on limex.tv and Glow TV apps anywhere in the world. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. Many thanks for being there.
I will take you through this amazingness today.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. As you can see, I am Uti Elu and I am joined in the studio by the ever gorgeous and glowing Miss Mary. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. How's
Very
your day
well.
been?
You're looking shining this new year.
We're trying.
Love it.
They said we
Love
should
it.
not grieve for anybody.
That's nice.
So this year, I don't go to grieve for stress. I don't go to grieve.
As in, yeah, you
I've just
well
been-
rested.
Someone said that today that I look like an allergy in my kaftan. I said, please, you have allergy.
The hair is giving, the nails, everything.
Yeah.
It's really giving
So,
an allergy feeling. Nice.
We have to.
Love
you know.
it. I love
2024
it.
has to be an awesome year. So I'm trying to ease my way into
Yeah,
it and, and chill.
Very
But did you
good.
get a break over Christmas?
A little break, a few days here and there.
And I trust you dirtied December. hey, so you can't be like.
I tried. I have to, regardless. You only live once, so I mean.
You only live once.
Yeah.
I think my own version of that was really just trying to sleep as much as possible.
Mm.
I mean, there were a lot of events going on, but I think that over the years, I've seen quite a few of the artists, and then I think some of the newer artists, I'm neither here nor there. So
Yeah, fair.
not really
Fair.
stressful, but I mean, we dirtied the December, we've entered the clean January, so
Yeah.
let's try.
It's my birth month anyway,
Oh,
so the
when's your
party
birthday?
continues, 29th.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice,
so
nice. I don't know how I
about
feel
that.
about people that have birthdays in January though.
I know,
It's like,
everybody's always
just-
broke during that time, but I mean,
At least you got to the end of January, so
yeah,
they don't sort of lump it with Christmas.
It's small salary would have entered by then, even though they'll still be grumbling. So they just say, we have to do it, sir.
We have to do it. We have to do it. I think that
this topic today,
we should just leave the quote and we should keep on moving.
Yeah,
and we'll come back to why it is and what it is in a minute. The late TB Joshua's documentary is at the peak of trends over the alleged sexual harassment of his female members whilst he was alive. It's our ladies' night out, and Mary and I are here to discuss the topic, how to address sexual deviance in religion. And when we open our phone lines, we'll love to hear what you have to say. But first, let's take a quick break to see what we found in the news. Please stay with us. You're still watching Ways. On 9th of January every year, International Choreographers Day is celebrated. The significance of International Choreographers Day lies in its recognition and celebration of the creative visionaries who bring dance to life. This global celebration honors the long history of choreography and recognizes its origin in the prehistoric artistic manifestations of many different cultures. So it's all about dance today. The Kafis and co of the world. These are the types of professions I think that as our entertainment industry has boomed, there's now more opportunities. Because I think in the 80s or so, if you said you were a choreographer, were you teaching Fuji dancers how to shake bobo?
Well, I mean, I guess they didn't just make an industry out of it. But like, and then if you see like, I mean, it has grown obviously, and if you see the recent music videos.
Oh yeah, now we have a complete and total
I'm
industry.
just like, wow.
No, yeah. I mean, when you search on Instagram, you find lots of these, types of choreographers. What's the lady that was on Big Brother? What's the light-skinned lady?
Watch it.
The one that she dances all the time on Licorice. That, yeah. But anyway, so there's tons of them out there, and I think they're doing a great job because the quality of our music videos, the quality of our
really improved.
Even the live shows. I think this Dirty December, everybody had some dancers on stage.
Yeah, Ashake.
Yeah,
so I didn't go for it, but I watched via the Instagram.
We all live vicariously via Instagram.
I mean, it's so nice how you can actually understand.
You don't have to shell out too much money because everybody's posting per second.
I mean, you're just seeing the performances.
That's what happens. But what did you find first?
It's nice. Okay, so I think it's over the weekend. Tiwa Savage was hanging out with Sophia Momodu.
Okay.
I think it's her name. She's Davido's baby mama, the mother for
Right.
So Davido started telling her like, oh, why are you hanging out with Sophia?
Pick your friends.
Yeah, kind of thing, and threatening her. So she wrote to the commissioner of police that I'm just putting a disclaimer out there. I actually didn't know it was that serious, And she was like, if anything happens to me, just know that, this is what's going on.
But they're tight now. Her son and Davido's, is it the other way around? She's the one that has the son now, Jam Jam.
Well, yeah, I guess Davido's enemy should be Tiwa Savage's enemy. So if he's not,
So pick a side.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, the threats are a bit much.
But
that she would go to the commissioner of police.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Well, that's a very strong thing because your baby mama is going to be in your life forever.
Yeah, like regardless of, why can't you just leave amicably? What celebrity troubles?
Well, for those of you that follow the Nigerian celebrity scene, if it's only me, people like Instagram will be out of business.
Fair.
Anyway,
yeah,
it's interesting how these things play out, but I mean, it makes for what's the word now? It keeps the industry thriving. So people
Yeah,
want to be
one or
celebs.
two.
Whether you're coming into celebdom from music or movies or the glowing world of Big Brother,
Or the
everybody
baby
shares
mama.
the baby mama side of it too, because that's also a booming industry actually.
Yeah,
So,
you know.
whichever way you come into it, everybody is fighting to stay relevant. So this fight tomorrow night, you will see Davido and Tiwa somewhere. Everybody, the netizens and the internet in-laws, or the social media in-laws would have abused each other,
Yeah.
pick sides, and then one day they'll be there sipping their drinks
Reconcile.
together. And everyone's
Oh,
like, "Oh." It's all wonderful, it's all fantastic. But anyway, we wish them all the very best in their fighting. Everybody stay safe. Don't nobody kill nobody. Please,
It's not worth it.
Two very talented people, please. Let's all make music and not war.
Yeah.
I think today the topic that we're talking about is another very, very important topic, and we can't wait to jump right into it. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get into the topic for today.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshuke.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely, right? No question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry.
You're watching Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Thanks for staying with us. The disturbing issue of sexual abuse within religious communities, particularly involving pastors and female members, is slowly eating deep into the fabric of our society. Sexual deviance within religious contexts can be sensitive and challenging. However, striking a balance between upholding religious values and addressing the complexities of human sexuality requires a thoughtful and compassionate approach. So tonight we're asking, how can we address sexual deviance in religion? Please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 0818-038-4663. So Mary, have you seen the documentary?
Yeah. I was actually in the third episode.
Yeah?
This evening.
What were your thoughts? What were your feelings?
Okay, so I might not be emotional as everybody is, but I found it very intriguing. I could see how consuming power is, and I could tell that he had a vision.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he had a serious vision, and what struck out for me the most, I mean, it's such a positive thing, but yeah, belief. So he had.
He believed that he could.
Yo, because Uti, if you look at this guy, he's a local man. So there's no finesse of I'm trying to, impress you. He just knew what the people wanted, and he had a vision.
And he served it up.
I'm telling you, like so
It was brilliant.
calculated.
Yep.
Do you understand? And the involvement with white people. He wasn't even taking on a local level. Because in the beginning, you hear one time when he said, we're a small crowd now. Soon we're going to be a large crowd. And I'm just like, wow.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
When you read con artists, in books, we see white people, it's a bit like, nice. But this is like...
The scale and the
down
scope
to
of it
home.
was grand. The thought process behind it, I mean, like you said, let's be honest, it was genius, right?
Yes.
Whichever position you take, he harnessed certain things. He studied the sort of huge American teleministries. He
Yes.
knew the power of media. He knew the power of visuals. He knew the power of storytelling. And so before social media was social media, he knew the power of storytelling. Korea, I'm seeing Israel, I'm seeing all these countries, right, that are represented. And I remember the first time I heard about TB Joshua, right? It struck me because that format, it was TD Jakes, and I was like, is this person trying to copy TD Jakes? And they said, oh no, this is TB Joshua. And I'm like, who's TB Joshua? This is in Nigerian, big church, everything. I'm like, I didn't know anything about it. But they said, no, there are plenty of white people there. If you see, and
involvement of white people,
do you know,
makes a whole lot of
I
difference.
never sort of paid attention to it, but I literally had goosebumps when I was watching. In fact, it was in the first, because the first I heard of it, of course, as with everything else, you see people on social media. So somebody posted, and I started to see the comments. And usually I don't pay attention to these things. But then the power and the effusiveness behind those comments, I was like, okay, let me check this out. And of course, started to watch the videos. And halfway through the first one, I literally had to tell myself, Uti, you have to keep going. Because the genius of it, of seeing somebody think through this thing, bring it to life, when you see, I think the first bit that got to me was when they showed a clip of people playing with, not people playing, people carrying concrete, church members, white and black, carrying concrete. Like they literally had what they call that is it pong pong on their head. And I was like, and the thought process through it of what essentially is like a systematic, let's call it what it is based on what we saw, brainwashing. Hypnosis. With the isolation, with there's no more powerful latch than faith. And the bit that I think hurt me the most was these were people who were really looking for God.
Yeah.
They were not just these were people who were genuinely looking for God. I have a problem. I understand that there is a God. I believe in this God, and I am looking for God to solve my problem. Do you know how hard it is to even get people to believe in God? Then to now take the ones that believe in God and just completely destroy it. That was the most
made a mess of religion.
Painful part for me. But then when you look through, his church is just one church. We've talked so many times on the show about the proliferation of religion in Nigeria. What's that phrase? Religion is the opioid of the masses. We understand it. It is. We understand it. People are coming to these churches because they need healing. They need all sorts of things. And we can see that it's not just black people. It's not just black people. But do you see how they strategically built on that system? I think the entire first episode didn't really talk much about the sexual part of it.
The second one.
But then the second one sort of really delves into it. And the sad part for me was when it kicked in, and it sort of, I don't remember, oh yeah, that's true. I used to hear these stories. People used to it had been mentioned in different places at different times. And I think one of the core characters that they mentioned, I'd seen a video of her maybe 4 years ago or something like that. And it brought it back to the fore. But there's nothing more powerful than a story. A story you can follow. Characters that have been developed, then you see what they were going through. And this is not just recreations. Because he was so big on media and on visuals, there was video to see it. Then we got to one part in the video.
So he would, coin the story. Even when the guest house
collapsed
down, he sent money to the people, to the families of the bereaved, and was saying that you should be happy that she died for you or something. And I was like, wow.
It was intense to watch, and I will admit that there's lots of things wrong with it. But if we even sort of move away, if we sort of try and circle back to our question today about the church and the sexual issues, it's not unique to synagogue. It's not unique to the late TB Joshua, because there are so many. I mean, the Catholic Church has had its own issues. Almost every denomination has had its issues, whether it be with boys, whether it be with girls. And I ask myself, what is the real trigger? Is this just human? Is this just deviance? Like, is it because, why is it so fixated? Is it focused on the church? Some people will say, oh, it's a spiritual attack. Some people will say, oh, it is proximity and what's the word now? It's denial and proximity, when you sort of take the religions and doctrines that don't allow their men of God per se to have wives or whatever. Somebody will say, oh, it is opportunity and denial. That's that one. Then in this case, you take people that have power. Because unfortunately, with particularly the Pentecostal movement, as we saw again in this video, those pastors take on a godlike essence. People follow them with complete devotion, complete, there was a song they were singing in there that was about him. And I was like, we've moved this thing now from praising God to praising the man. But even that is not unique to him. I remember the first time I encountered a protocol team of a church, not even in Nigeria, abroad. And it made me till this day have a problem with protocol team. Because it seemed all of a sudden like, I'm like, if you're a pastor in a church, the very nature of a pastor, of what pastoral care is to care for people. Then you are not accessible. You are almost like gates. I'm like, so if I can't access you as my pastor, why am I in your church?
Power.
So that aspect of the power that then comes to play, the worship that comes to play, the fact that people seem to lose all reason around the things that you do. This one, from the video you can see that it was clear, the tactics were clear. Isolate, give them the narrative, keep feeding it and feeding it and feeding it. When you start to convince a virgin that she's lusting, you keep feeding it and feeding it and feeding it. And I'm thinking to myself, what exactly, his case was classic. But then I was thinking back to, it was a few years ago now when, what's her name? Timi Dakolo's wife, Busola. When she came out again, also against a very popular pastor. And similar things happened, because one of the things that actually I think really triggered me, in fact, I went to get my nails done today, and as I walked into the salon, they were having this discussion. As I heard it, I said, please, I beg you, you would change the topic. And I just put my headphones on because I just didn't want to be triggered any more than I already had been. Because in the midst of what seems to be glaring evidence, people say, hey, but he's not alive to defend himself. Why is he coming out now? And I'm like, excuse me? What has him being alive got to do with anything?
This is clear, regardless of, even if we're not even trying to be spiritual or anything, this is a cult.
No, but that's what it is.
And it's not, it's not for any good purpose. I can't see how you're uplifting people if you're, caging
you're tearing them down to control them.
They have to call you to say good night. Please, where? No,
it's
what part of your body
is telling you classic,
that this is
you said, he had a plan.
You need the person to be alive to defend that.
He has a plan and he stuck to it. But if we even take, we've all seen, I'm sure, so many videos, so many movies have been made about these cults. And when you were just talking now about the having to call him and all of that, this one was just on a very calculated, very extreme, very high ground.
It's so
because
intriguing.
When the guest house collapsed, I didn't even know that. They kept calling it a guest house, and I had heard that a lot of white people live there. I didn't know it was a paying business. That it was that context now of there are people that even till today, I guess in this world, when they say there's somebody for everybody, there really is somebody for everybody, because till this day, people, if you go on social media right now, tons of people are still supporting him, are still saying, one, he's not alive, he's not true. Even with all the, there were rumors before. Now you have evidence. It's not just Nigerians, it's not just South Africans, it's not just the Brits. Everybody is represented, right, in this video to tell their story. If he was alive, like I asked, what would he have said?
He's going to stand on, if he has gone this far, do you think he's going to come out and confess anything?
So these rumors had been there. I mean, I think he passed in 2021. The video I saw of the lady, the main Nigerian lady, Bisola, I had seen a video of her in like 2019. I'm like, beyond actually all the stuff they put out about her being a terrible person and all of that, what do you say to defend yourself? Nothing. So if he's alive today, I'm very interested, and perhaps maybe when our callers call in, I'm very interested to hear what it is that their thoughts are around. Is there something that he could actually say today if he were alive to defend himself? Is there something the church could say to defend themselves? But more importantly, I think we now need to ask the question, how do we deal with this? Because this is not unique to synagogue. Yeah. This is, as we can see, the other high-profile case. That one too never made any headway.
They're all from top leaders.
Exactly.
In the religious,
yes. So if it's still happening and it keeps happening, how do we deal with it? Because it's now a problem. It's a very real problem. When we know the problem, what kind of solutions do we put in place? The way, like I said, that we've elevated men of God, do we now need to start convincing people to look? The word of God is in the Bible. Read it. Is it the same lack of education that is triggering this and impacting this? But then it's happening all over the world in different countries. So how can we really stop it? I hope that when our callers call in, they can give us some of their thoughts around how we can manage this situation. But I think we can take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll open our phone lines, and we really love to. If you've just tuned in, it's our Ladies' Night Out, and we are discussing how to address sexual deviance in religion. Please let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 0818-038-4663. Our phone lines are now open. You can call us on 0702 500 7749. We really would love to hear what you have to say on this topic. In fact, it's
so intriguing. It's actually so intriguing. Like, I mean, my colleague was like, oh, she had goosebumps. I'm like, except people are not seeing what I'm seeing, but I'm just like, for me, I don't know why I take some positivity out of it. Like, it's giving me ginger to say that if this man can believe in himself,
your own is even at a different level.
No, I'm just like, if this man, if you can believe in yourself,
why couldn't you use it
something
for
positive?
Good?
Imagine what's going to come out. Just actually imagine.
But I mean, it shows so many things. And one of the other things that really, apart from even the gullibility, you know, think about our people. Think about, let's leave the masses. He got to the cream and the crop of society. He got to presidents. He got to prime ministers. He got the what's that thing in Nigeria? The Order of Nigeria. The title. So wow. How is it possible? Okay, I think we have our first call. Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Please let's have your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Pastor Ladipo.
Good evening, Pastor Ladipo.
From Orile.
Thank you. Let's hear what you have to say, please.
Okay, what I have to say is this. It's difficult for such a man not to abuse that privilege.
Absolute power.
I think one of the things that happened in this man's case was that even while he was alive, he faced a lot of oppositions like this. Now he's dead. Oppositions are still coming up. Me, I'm not trying to play the devil's advocate, but that's his daughter. Is it that a lot of people didn't know that this man have a daughter somewhere that they didn't talk about all through while the man was alive? That now she's coming out. Anyway, when you come up with a story like this for a dead man, the man is not there to defend himself. So
I like that. It looks like him.
Yes, thank you. You see, okay, you know what? For me, the man will not defend himself. That is just the truth. Even while he was alive, when great allegations were laid against him, he didn't bother to defend himself. I get him. He will still defend himself. That is just the truth. But only God will save us. When it comes to religious leaders like these, people attach too much honor that is due for God to them, and they get away with a lot of nasty things.
Yeah.
God will bless us.
Thank you for calling. Thank you. God will bless you too. I mean, I like what he has said there. That's a very key thing. And when we are talking about how to address these issues, I think that is one very important thing for both the congregation and the pastors themselves to look at. Because yes, power can be very, what Pastor Ladipo is saying, there's a responsibility to continue to return the spotlight to God and away from yourself. Because let's be honest, power does amazing things to people. We see it with our leaders. We see it, I mean, leaders in all sphere of life.
Yes.
Any small power, you're going to go crazy.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering, like, as in, who's going to call them to order? Let's say they just can't see that, they've gone past that. Because we're not talking about subordinates now. We're talking about the apex in each of these religious, hierarchies. So who is going to hold them accountable?
So perhaps within the church leadership structure, there has to be somebody or people that can call them to order. But let me take this comment quickly. It says, I really worry about the gullibility of Nigerians to see such a package and yet question the validity of it. How we can defend such a terrible lifestyle, all in the name of religious affiliation. The fact that they didn't see it as a warning to beware of false prophets that would litter the earth in these times. I've just been wondering what manner of humans we are since the videos were released. I feel bad for the damaged persons and pray for their healing, true healing from God. That's from Taya from Ikeja. Thank you for sending that in. I mean, there's so many ways in which you can really start to shoot for, hopefully, because there's no indication that this will never happen again. We have churches.
Because we're still giving indications that we don't even believe that this.
We don't believe that this is glaring in the face of all of this. People are still saying, I mean, if he was alive, he can't defend himself. I've heard all sorts. I mean, I've been triggered so many times you can't even imagine, right? Because for me, there's a larger issue at play here, right? We already know that we have issues around rape culture.
Yes.
We already have issues around gender, right? We have a culture of silence. We have a culture where we're still in the part of the world where the victims get the blame. Now, in the face of all this evidence, in the face of women who are clearly traumatized, right? Then to see that people are still saying, if he was alive, or this did. Like literally, why would anybody watching this video speak up? If they went through, it doesn't even have to be at the hand of the pastor. Any kind of sexual molestation, why would they speak up? This takes us back because nations around this story and where it has gone. I mean, I can understand it. Here we're talking about sexual issues, but I mean, at one point in time, the "Touch Not My Anointed" was like a sing-song. Everybody's like, no, this is the man of God. And I always, with that phrase, man of God, I always say, please, which one comes first? Maybe it's man. Man of God. Meaning he was a man first before he became of God. And every human being is fallible. Yeah. It doesn't even have to be in a sexual nature. And again, this is where, like Pastor Ladipo said, you've built the person up to that point where he's now godlike. Then you forget that he's a human being. Then when they make a mistake, then it becomes, no, they can't. But a man of God is first and foremost a man. They struggle with the spiritual attacks. They themselves are moving targets. Then if you then add the self-belief now that this status they've tied to you now truly imbibe it, as he did. Because calling to say good night, was that to check, maybe to trigger, who do I pick tonight, or,
What the occultic?
No, it did. I mean, I like the place in the video where the lady said, if you sort of see the way the videos were structured, in video 1 and video 2, I kept asking myself, so, I mean, I believe in miracles, let's be clear. I'm a Christian. I absolutely believe that miracles happen. But I kept asking myself, because, you know, the videos were the stories were told in parts.
Yes.
And they never sort of talked about those miracles, because those things looked crazy. The types of medical conditions they were calling, the types of miracles that were happening, it will catch anybody. Even if it's just for you to say, you know what, me, I want to use my eyes to see. I want to go there. Then you don't know that you're walking into a den where they're now going to peel your layers away and just, you know, take advantage. But the truth of it was, the thought process behind, even in identifying the victims of a certain age, of a certain like the guy,
well thought out.
The guys who were looking after him, that was another scary part. The 5-story whatever boys, like literally.
I didn't understand the cutting of his beard and
putting in the mouth of the fisherman. So I'm even trying to stay away from all of that occultic, because that whole prayer mountain.
But is there any biological thing that makes fish?
Well, no, it wasn't meant to be a biological conversation. Of course, that's purely occultic, of course. But I mean, that man on that side, I mean, you could obviously tell that the storytellers also didn't understand the significance of maybe occultic things, because they really sort of told it at a very high level. You know, if it was Nollywood style, they would have dug into it and, you know, but it really was, it was scary, it was shocking, it was unbelievable.
Was he going to defend himself?
I don't know. No, I've even left that part of the conversation, because maybe anybody that says he should call and he should come and defend himself, you know, I was hoping that more callers would call in and tell us exactly what their thoughts were, because on pastors, the responsibility on church, but then the responsibility, I think there are a few pastors that I've seen who consistently refer people when they're preaching the word to the Bible. Yes. Everybody, you have a Bible. It's in every language, or almost every language.
Don't even have consciousness to know right and wrong.
But you know, consciousness is based on different factors. Common sense, all of those things, you know, they're all in there, right?
Yes, but something, so these people were brainwashed, yeah. But something in them is still fighting back. Do you understand? Something in you is still fighting back. So if the guy, you know, invites you in his room for the first time, you know, he's doing all of that, there's you don't need Bible or...
No, but you know, by the time they got to that point, they were fully brainwashed at that point. They had sleep deprivation. You remember when she even sort of talked about how they looked malnourished and then they started to wear makeup and dress better. So clearly, the approach was nefariously flawless, because you made sure they were sleep deprived, you cut them off from everybody that could have shown them love and triggered them and asked them the right questions. At that point, they were more like robots. Because you walk into a room, somebody you think about how you revere a God. And then that God tells you do something. You will hop to. That's what happens. I mean, even in the military it happens. Well, so, you know, I try not to say, never could happen. Because again, the strategy they use.
It happens in every...
It is tried and tested. Mm-hmm. So to say, I just pray that I never find myself in any such situation, because that method is proven and it works. So you caught people who had a vulnerability, who were looking for God. You put them in a situation where you were then the only thing that they saw, the only thing they had to refer to. You put them together, so they were a collective. So it became more than the power of one. Like, you know, even when you want to have a unique thought, and then you see all these other people around you, all saying daddy, 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 all, you two will be like, well, you know, human beings also, we conform. So I mean, when you watch it, I literally want to say that it is God that gave the people that broke out. It's God that gave them the strength and the unction to break out. Because if you look at even the lady who had the video after she left, where she came back and tried to confront him, she was so distressed, shouting at the gate. You know, he had sex, and I'm like, this is someone who is clearly traumatized. This is somebody who is coming to the dawning of the realization that this thing has happened to me. I don't even want, I mean, the part about his daughter, that one was just too distressing. like literally telling people they can slap her, they can beat her, all of those things, you know. So there was a deep level to it that if you think about it, is deeply unsettling. But like we said, it's not a new problem. We have to start to figure out how to empower people. We need you to make sure that you are learning the word, you are finding, because it's very difficult to say find somebody, because at this point anybody, if a person like this could get to this point, everybody can be, you know, yeah. So in that sense, it's, you know, you have to find someone who can really teach you the Bible, encourage you to get into, not if she was a virgin and she was like, what has being a virgin got to do with coming to church? And she ran off. And that now when she's seeing this, that in understanding what she potentially escaped, that is just, it's a lot. And, you know, I'm not surprised, because he was also philanthropic and the people are hungry.
Poverty.
He's giving rice, he's giving money.
Poverty.
He's got the powerful story of miracles.
Yes.
I mean, the most painful thing for me was how somebody took advantage of people's faith.
Yeah.
And it is still happening. And that is the bit that, as a religion, we have to stand up against. The genuine pastors out there, the genuine Christians out there, please talk to people about your faith. Tell people the right thing. What he could not speak to, what he could not, like literally, it is right there in languages. But it goes beyond that now, where I say everybody that has a genuine belief in God and loves their religion has a responsibility to make sure that they are actually, this is not now, you know, people say, oh yes, go out and preach the gospel. They don't even say you want trends that you see out there. And when you encounter it, please, 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 we have to start to educate people, because you have to shine a light. You have to shine a light where there is darkness for there to be clarity.
Yeah.
So if we're going to start to, you know, to work against these things, I know that a lot of the churches, for example, the Catholic Church has put a lot of work into, you know, trying to distance itself from this image and all of that. But there has to be clear work. Organizations like CAN really now need to start taking a clear eye to monitoring pastors as they get bigger, to understand, are they abusing this power? Are they taking advantage of people? Churches? Because we have some mega sized churches in this country. We really do. So we have a responsibility to make sure that the thing that is dearest to us, the faith, the gospel, the message of Jesus, the sacrifice that he has made, is not torn apart and, you know, taken away from people who are genuinely seeking him, who are genuinely seeking miracles. Because miracles do happen. But it is just sad that in this day and age, it has happened and it is still happening, and there's no indication that it won't happen again. So, I mean, it's really been it's been a very tough day for me, you know, having to have these conversations and, you know, watch the videos. It really is heartbreaking. And even for the people who say, I think there was another conversation we were having around, or if they had followed through, there could have been prosecutions. Why did they wait till he was dead to bring it out? Again, I refer to the collapsed building case. This is almost how many years later? I think that happened in 2019 or so. This is almost 5 years later, and there's been no what's the word now, prosecutions, right? Even though the coroner came out to say this was what it was, all of these things have been said. But as with our country, there's been no apparent consequences.
For someone of that caliber.
Yeah, there's been no apparent consequences. So there is just so much that we need to do, or we need to think about in terms of protecting people. Is there anything you want to add before we wrap up, just as your final thoughts on this issue and how we move forward as a faith?
Well, I mean, I still believe that as human beings, we've given a discerning spirit, and let's try as much as possible to listen. It happens in the most mundane ways. It might not even be something that is, really big to say you're right and wrong. But then there's always that nudge, in you. When you're rude to someone, what are you saying? #ways. How to address sexual deviance in religion. It is very simple. The pastors that are involved should be exposed. The bodies of the so-called women are holy and should be respected. Not all pastors are born again. Sister Oti, Happy New Year to you. I missed you a lot. My name is Daniel Iliowe's regular fan.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And I think your comment is very apt, that wherever this is happening, that people know that they can find help, they can speak out, reach out to family members, to close friends, and really give yourself the opportunity to be heard, and hopefully to get some solution or respite for the situation that you find yourself in. The resources abound for sexual molestation and those kinds of issues, so please do find the opportunity and the strength to reach out to get support. Before we go, do ensure that you follow us on Instagram at We Show Africa. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our social media engagements. Remember to like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family. Don't watch us alone. Share the conversation to watch us and follow us. So if you missed today's quote, here it is again. Of all possible sexual perversions, religion is the only one to have ever been scientifically systematized, and that's from Louis Aragon. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Have a good evening.
Fundamentally, hustle culture is about work dominating your time in such an unnatural way that we have no time to live our lives. The demanding nature of our world now, where people have to pay multiple bills, take care of family, has led to the need to make more money to meet those needs. Coupled with the constantly increasing cost of living and inflation, people can't stop working. The weekends are no longer spent relaxing and spending time with family, but catching up on work that couldn't be completed during the week, or doing other side hustles that can provide that extra money to cover some bills. Now, people log in long hours and take on side hustles for many reasons. Eloho, a 28-year-old
right now is like 200% of what I started with on this same salary. So I say my salary is for 3 different things. So like the day job is for living expenses. Electricity tariff has increased twice. There's water bill, there's light bill, there's so many things to consider. Then my 9th job is for skincare. Your skin starts caring when you take care of it. So and skincare is now more expensive, just keeps getting more expensive. So like things that make me happy, that's one of my income streams goes to. Another is for rent, specifically dedicated to paying rent. And I'm also a firstborn, first daughter, first granddaughter. So there's black tax too.
Oyidamola Abati is another young person who has found herself juggling many jobs and gigs.
In terms of the juggling, it's not so hard anymore. People do it now, like especially now that the pandemic changed everything really. Before the pandemic, people used to ask me, how do you do it? But now, Everybody has to learn how to do it. People, I have friends that are working 3 jobs, that are working 4 jobs. It's stressful, but you know, you have to survive somehow. So for me, when it comes to passions, things that don't have to do with money, I work maybe, I can say once a week or on weekends. I have my easel here, so I do my paintings. If it has to do with resume writing business, I set up a schedule that enables me to work on that. I have people that work with me. You know, once a client comes in, there's step-by-step process. It's been assigned. You know, we have processes. So these things, this structure helps me, keeps my life in focus. Everything, you know, has a structure.
With the rising cost of living, many people don't have a choice but to work at multiple jobs and also own businesses. The economic realities and the proliferation of entrepreneurship has necessitated many into working multiple jobs and hustles to make ends meet. The average young Nigerian works at a job and does a small business on the side. With such little time to rest, it's no wonder burnout has cropped up in our vocabulary since 2020. Burnout is a condition that is classified as an occupational phenomenon by the World Health Organization resulting from workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. It is a state of physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. As the stress continues, you begin to lose interest and motivation that led you to take on certain roles in the first place.
Last December was the first December in 8 years I did not fall sick. You can find it. I wasn't eating, and I'm a foodie, so if I'm not eating, it's really bad. So I wasn't eating, so many things were going on, but I was really just hot, and I was shaking. And then I said, no, I'm going to church. So I went to church, and you're actually very tired, and they just admitted me. So I was just lying there on the bed. I remember I was wearing a new dress based on it was December. And I keep saying, I tell people that my new dress was christened in the hospital. I was just lying on the bed, like IV in my arm, and I was just tired.
I was like, I'm done. And I was like, for now, I'm just going to focus on my lecturing job. I know that even though it's a little, it can still pay some bills during the month. And I'm just going to manage for this period. So I took like a 3 to 6 month break. I said I wasn't doing anything else. So eventually, when I was ready again and I felt mentally up to it, I started applying for jobs again.
While hustle culture glorifies overworking as a bad, to avoid burnout, here are some tips. Seek support. Make time or find time to rest. Burnout can be preempted by learning to take breaks in between work projects. Don't wait till you're tired and burn out before you take a deserving rest. Take
dream career jobs together every day. Collins and Andrea Teke were renowned individual broadcasters before they fell in love and got married. Not a few people think that relationships are hard enough to deal with on their own, and when you throw working together into the mix, it can get even trickier. One interesting thing about the Tekes is how seamless the couple anchors the same show together, a first of its kind in Nigerian radio.
Cheers to life!
They didn't always work together. Collins used to run a production studio, and it was at work that he met Andrea.
I needed a female voice. The client demanded for a specific female voice that sounded a certain way. And explained it to one of my, and I couldn't do anything. I didn't have anything in mind because at the time I was in another relationship.
What happens at home? Does Andrea take up the role of a traditional African wife and mom?
I'm blessed to have him. I wake up in the morning and the first thing is to take care of my baby because we have a son together. The first thing is to take care of him, have his bath, prepare his meal, cook and, clean, have my own bath prepared, and then we come to work. But the good thing is he takes up the responsibility of bathing this boy in the morning. So he takes that off my duty, so to speak. Sometimes I do it while he cleans or dresses him up. and then I face the kitchen. So we share that responsibility. It's more like sharing the responsibility at home and also sharing the responsibility. Collins, tell your wife. And the wife is right there. You know, they call and they greet him first before they greet me. Some don't even greet me. Some don't even regard that I am on the show with him. Yeah. So it dealt with me when we started initially, dealt with me mentally, dealt with me emotionally, because it felt like I am there, but still not there. Because, you know, it took a while for people to recognize my presence, because at the end of the day, you are his wife. You are supposed to calm down when he's talking. You're supposed to be quiet when he's talking. And, you know, this is my job. I was a broadcaster before I got married to him. Yeah. And so it is my job first. And we have to come on the radio and talk and make Lagos happy.
And do it. Kick a show.
And make Lagos happy. So it's actually challenging where you have to like not let the world know that you're dealing with something and come on the air and be beautiful.
We're fighting. People tend to just make what they make out of the situation. So whatever you present is what you get. So before you know it, your individual brand starts sinking in the joint brand.
Sharing an office space requires this couple having as little time away from each other as possible, as nerves may become frayed.
We have to create the fun.
Exactly. There was no phones, nothing. Yeah. And we are sitting, discussing what is going on in our lives as individuals and also as a couple. We just declutter. What I have been having in my mind that is building up to a resentment, I tell it to him. He also tells me
view about this.
It's a world that is changing has proven, at least in our own case, that it promotes bonding. It also promotes, in fact, I've been a better broadcaster, you know, from the moment she joined me on radio, and even the are countless. So if you want to fake it in front of people and come in and say, oh, everything is fine, hey, you know, it's a matter of time. The toxicity that's involved in it would show, and then it would affect the work.
The work, yeah.
So it all depends on the couple.
There would be challenges. There are things that you would experience that will make you feel like, no, I can't go on anymore. That's just the way marriage is. There are tough times that will make you feel like, yo, I cannot continue this. It's going to happen even with the business. But if you take it the way you take your marriage and say, regardless of this turbulence, regardless of the challenges, it has to work. We have to get it done. When you have that mentality, trust me, it might just come out beautiful.
From the office of the Tekes, we head to the home of another interesting couple that has been into automobile mechanics for many years. Wale and Taya Oshukoya have been married for 10 years and working together in repairing vehicles. This home doubles as one of their workshops in Lagos. Marrying Wale was a dream come true for Tayo.
This work started through my husband. Even when we were during courtship, he has been on the field. I was not on the field, but I love the job. So after we get married, I have to join him so that we can work in together, because it's what I've been willing to do for long. And I just love that job. I just love it because when I was small, it's my dad's field. So I used to assist my dad when I was in primary, secondary school. So to God be the glory, after my school and everything, getting married, God now gave me someone that I love and the field I love most.
Meet my wife, we married together, and I have to tell my wife that this is the kind of work that I'm doing. And I somebody that I love so much, and she loved the work. So when I say, well, I have to tell him to go and quit where he's working before. There's one company that she's working and is managing the company, and she agreed with me. She's sorry. Fashola School in Ikorodu, Automobile School. The Fashola School in Ikorodu, Automobile School, Technology. You know, we went together. We take me to the school. I said, oh boy, okay. So I see some my junior brother that's even my age, my children age mates. I say, you see those ones that will sit down together in the class. I say, okay, no problem now. And I encourage myself because I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm going. I know where I'm coming from. I know where I'm going. So God give me I'll give God the glory. We'll sit down together, we'll write the exam, and then take me. So, and I'll go there, he give me back school, he give me my shoe, give me my everything, uniform. I take it. I go to the school, I saw some my age.
With customer cannot even see it in my face. Rather than for me to now say that, no, it's someone I love. Why will I disturb his business, or why will I disturb my business?
We say, well, I'm tired, I'm tired. Which kind tired? There's one man I used to work with him. He just called me, say, Wale. I said, sir. He said, why your wife used to follow you up and down? I said, sir, my wife is my colleagues. My wife is my partner for this business. If I want to take a boat now, or I want to do something, I want to buy the how people can discourage him. Even he will face so many challenges on mommy's side, on family side issue. They say, why you follow your husband? Why do you tell your husband to open a supermarket for you and do business and selling and do this? You say, Mom, that's your own time. This is my own time. This person, I love it and I love the job. So all the worry people saying is wrong. Sometimes they'll call me and say, Wale, why you don't get money to give your wife? I say, Mommy, it's not that I don't have money to give my wife, but my wife loves this job. So work. Say, okay, after some things or after so many years, they leave us.
If you are a dirty person from your home, you will surely be a dirty person. But if I'm going out now, wash my body, clean my hands, you won't believe that this person is a mechanic. I fix fingers as well. I do makeup if I'm going out. You won't even believe that I am a mechanic. That is me, the whole thing. Even if after everything, if the woman will not say, wow, woman does this one. If my workmanship is 2,000 naira, we say, oh, my dear, let me give her 5,000 naira because she encouraged me.
Sometimes I will tell them that, okay, today we want to go out, we don't do any work, we don't have any customers place today. We are going and dress, wear your dress, do your nails, do everything. I will take the kind of wife that is given to me, so I achieve so many things.
A work that you are doing, you can be able to train your children's school, and you can be able to cater for your home, and you can even have a shelter on your head, having your own car. What else someone needs on this earth? Nothing more.
They have also faced challenges working together as a mechanic couple.
If you have a space outside there, people see couples working together, we have more customers. But immediately you go outside there to make your own workshop, government will come and demolish it. It's a big challenge on us, even all mechanics. They see the work as a dirty work and they are going out on their daily basis with their cars. And of which, if the car eventually stopped on the road, they're still going to call we mechanics.
Wale and Tayo believe mono-career couples can emerge strong and fulfilled as long as their values align.
I encourage the people that want to do the business, want to do the work. They should focus on the thing that they want to do. Don't look down on yourself today. It's not that the money that you make today, you make sure that you finish all the money. You have to put half for savings or anything. Because like this job that we're doing now, we use some our money to run the business.
If you have passion, you have zeal for your husband's work, just to make the business grow.
Our findings point at some
Alopecia is a rare condition among women in Nigeria, and because of this, many people are not well informed of this condition. We spoke to Moshudat Badmos, who shared her journey with us.
I was preparing for service and I went to the salon to wash my hair. I was on dreads then. And when I got to the salon, the hairdresser, she hadn't even started washing my hair. She was just separating the dreads and she saw the bald spot. So just small, like a coin shape around here. So when she said, she was like, Auntie Shefarin in Yoruba means, Auntie, did you scrape your hair? I was like, why would I scrape my hair? It's like, there's a spot here, like a bald shiny spot, and she showed me. And I was like, no, what's this? So that day I was scared. I just quickly packed my hair. I told her not to even wash it again.
I went home and I told my mom like something happened at the salon, and my mom was like, this is spiritual. You know, like Nigerian mothers. So we started thinking, did anybody come? Because that was the first thing that came to my mind. Like, hair can't just disappear. It's something that is always like a part of you. You can't go too after. I just went online. And just like I searched in my symptoms and the signs I saw, the bald spots and all that, and I saw alopecia. So I told my mom like, I saw something like alopecia. I'm like, oh no, she doesn't feel that as it. So I told her I wanted a second opinion because we've been doing the whole spiritual thing. So like I wanted a medical opinion. So we went to see the doctor and he told me it was fungal infection. So I was placed on drugs and it didn't do anything. But my mind kept going back to the alopecia. Where I was living, it's at Yaba. So that was when I went there. So when I got there, that was in, I think around probably September or so. And I saw the nurse in charge. They were like, there is no appointment, there's no space available to see the doctor. The next appointment is going to be in 2016 March. So I told the woman like, March care, like, no, I have to see the doctor because by then I already had like a lot of bald spots. It wasn't just one again, I had about 5 then. So I showed her my hair. Like, she should just see it. Like, she wasn't even so, I felt it was something she probably has seen. She wasn't even so concerned. It's like, sis, there are people with worse conditions than you have that are on the list. I can't do anything. So I begged her, I was in tears, and she was like, okay, she's going to give me December, a space in December. She'll come back in December. Told me to come very early, that the clinic time starts by 8. So I got there 7. I was early. When I got there 7, I met a lot of people already. And when they started giving out numbers, I think the number ended at 25 or so. I think I was like number 29. So they told me like, I won't be able to see the doctor, that I should come back the next day. So I started crying. Nobody understood why I was crying, and the woman was like, so the nurse looked at me and said, so look at people here, people with terrible conditions. There's nothing wrong with you. Just go back and you see the doctor when you see the doctor. She wasn't even so concerned, and I just kept on crying. So people begged her, and she gave me a number. So when I saw the dermatologist, she was like, you have alopecia, you're not special, you're just one of the few unfortunate ones. So there is no known cause, there is no cure for it. But since you have alopecia areata right now, we're going to place you on the treatment. You're going to take steroid shots for 6 months. So the steroid shots they give you on the bald spots. So I was happy, like, okay, finally, this is something I can do. So I went to my mom's sister's place then. So when I got to her place, she was like, oh, check calorie, I like to come. Like, we should go see all these herbalists, people that are into herbal treatments and all. So we went there. The lady said, okay, she's going to prepare a bowl for me and all that. But first, I have to scrape my hair. So that day, I'd already taken the first steroid shots on my scalp. So I told the woman then that, no, I go together. It's just we're both looking for solution and all that. So she convinced me to like scrape off my hair. So I scraped it off and I started the herbal treatment too. But after scraping off my hair and I went for the next shots, it got worse. My hair started growing back, but the spot things, it didn't come back. So after the second shot, by the time I would go back for the third shot, my hair was completely gone. I had no hair. So when the guy wanted to give me the shots, the dermatologist that saw me that day, you know it's like a public health center, so you won't see the same doctor every time. So he didn't understand because normally you're supposed to give shots on the spots. So he called the head dermatologist and she was like, what happened? So I explained to her that I scraped it. Like, you shouldn't have scraped it. That was it for me. And here we are.
Moshudat Badmus and Jasmine Oguns share the most awkward experiences they've had living with alopecia.
For me, one of the ridiculous things I've heard about alopecia is when people ask that, do you have cancer? Because I feel it should be known that chemotherapy actually causes hair loss.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, even, okay, I did a surgery in 2017 and I was in the hospital and people came, nurses, and assume that I was a cancer patient just because to me it's very ridiculous because you guys are
point the victim lose his or her hair, but after the chemo phase, once they survive that cancer phase, their hair grow back. So it's a different thing entirely. Alopecia and cancer are not the same. They are two different. That's why sometimes when we do our campaign, we emphasize on the fact that it is not cancer, it is alopecia, no alopecia. So they are two different things. Yeah, one ridiculous thing I've heard was when one spiritualist said, someone took my hair to the ocean. Now my hair is under the water, you know, and I tried to sound sarcastic too because it didn't make any sense to me. I was like, okay, please tell me the person that took my hair.
Tell people, like you've explained to the person, I have
oh
alopecia.
God.
Alopecia is this, alopecia is that. God, they're like, oh, honey, that's sad.
So why do you cut your hair?
I know, but like,
we hear that a lot.
Like it is constant. Like you do awareness this year now. We do. September is Alopecia Awareness Month.
Yeah.
We do awareness. You guys, we tell you so much about it. And next year, be like, you started this sneak. Why did you cut your hair this year? God.
Another ridiculous thing. In fact, this one has been coming non-stop. You know, during the interview I had with BBC Pidgin last year, I mentioned how my relationship failed, how the wedding introduction got called off 3 days to the wedding introduction by my supposed mother-in-law. And you won't believe the kind of messages that I've been receiving. Random men coming around, asking for my hand in marriage, out just like that, from nowhere. You don't know me, you don't know anything about me. And I'll be like, where is this coming from? I said, I saw your interview about your mother-in-law that called off your wedding. I'm like, for crying out loud. The interview was not even about marriage, it was about alopecia. So you're not bothered about the awareness I'm creating, you're bothered about marriage. But I didn't come on air to say I'm looking for a husband. I didn't say I am not dating or I'm not in a relationship. So it sounds ridiculous. Like it keeps coming, and every time I hear that, I just shake my head like, oh my God, not again.
Long or short hair, all women are beautiful. We need to create more awareness surrounding alopecia and eliminate every form of stigmatization towards those living with alopecia.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them.
If you no talk, then go beat you.
Now 2,500 they pay.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye. Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. By no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry.
Good afternoon. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. This is the news update. President Bola Tinubu has landed in Abuja after his private trip to France. The presidential jet NAF 001 touched state capital on Kano to protest what they described as the rising cost of living in the country. On Tuesday, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said Tinubu had directed immediate interventions to alleviate the sufferings and forestall a further breakdown in security. The minister spoke after a meeting of the Special Presidential Committee on Emergency Food Intervention, chaired by the President's Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja.
The President has directed that government needs to step in to stem this tide. Government will not fold its arms and see the way Nigerians are suffering in terms of the availability of these food items. Now, some of these will involve to open it up so that discuss with them and provide some intervention to make this food available to Nigerians. What government is noticing is that actually there is still food in this country. Some people are taking advantage of the situation, especially because of the high cost, the rise in or the depreciation in the value of our currency.
But in the Ministry of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, have assured Nigerians that the high cost of living being witnessed by Nigerians is currently being addressed. Speaking in similar vein, the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, Mr. Zach Adedeji, says the federal government is doing everything possible to calm the current inflation in the country. These assurances were made in a separate presentation by the it at the moment due to a series of poor economic policies over the years, adding that the cost of living has spiked as a result of inflation.
Inflation needs to be tackled. The governor of Central Bank has said what is being done. He has announced his targets for inflation.